I believe like you can potentially, there isn't like people are like, oh, burgers are bad or this. I'm like, honestly, all of that isn't bad. It's just what we have done to a burger. Like the original McDonald's was actually probably healthy because it had like good quality, like flour that wasn't highly processed and had an amazing piece of, beef that was grass fed, grass finished. And it was made, they used lard or tallow to like fry them and da da da. So it's just funny how like technically nothing is really inherently bad. It's just what we have done to variations of these foods has made them so bad.
Absolutely. And also the fake meats, everyone's kind of like the vegan movement was huge. I think we're turning around a little bit to be, people are starting to realize those aren't good for us with all those fillers, and the fake cheeses, and you overdo all those things. Those aren't good, like just additives, fillers in our food. If we just eat real food, like that's what the cleanse is. It's all real food. It's over 50 different vegetables in 5 days. So who can say they have over 50 different vegetables in 5 days?
Hi, my name is Aggie, and this is Biohacking Bestie. The one-stop shop for a modern queen, where you can find biohacking courses, self-growth courses, and where you can find the most incredible community of women so you can hit all of your biohacking goals and beyond. My besties, welcome back to Biohacking Bestie. As you know, I love talking nutrition, but what I love even more is talking to women, because women have this amazing first-hand experience of being a woman, and then talking about nutrition is just like so much more fun for me, because sometimes a lot of this advice is technically great, but until you apply it to a woman who is a very complicated machine. We're complicated, but we're amazing. So today I'm joined by Elissa Goodman. Welcome, Elissa.
Thank you.
So good to have you on the show.
It's good to be here.
I want to start with some rapid fire questions, and then I want to dive in and make sure we bring as much value to everyone listening right now. And for those of you who are listening, if there's anything that resonated with you deeply, or you had this like, wow, aha moment, or you just love Elissa, make sure you share a moment with your bestie, or post on your Instagram, or give us a follow, subscribe, because that really helps the show. It helps our guests as well. And yeah, let's dive right in. All right. So what's your favorite way to add more nutrition to your meals?
Juicing.
Your favorite way to hide veggies in your diet?
Probably juicing.
What's your favorite salad recipe?
So, oh my God, I have a cleanse. So that's a hard one, because I do different salads every day on my cleanse, my 5-day cleanse that I cook and deliver to people in Los Angeles.
Would you say that it's a favorite, juice is your favorite salad?
No. Okay. So I do love to eat, and I have to chew. And we came up a few months ago with a pumfu recipe, because delicious.
I was hoping you'd say that.
Marinated pumfu is kind of fun.
Yeah.
It's tofu made, a tofu type material made with pumpkin seeds, as you know.
Yeah. If you can't completely cut out processed foods, what's a good percentage of whole foods to processed foods we should aim for?
I say 80-20.
Perfect. What do you think is the number one most nourishing food? Or your favorite one?
That is a tough one. I mean, I have so many. I love vegetables. So I have to say dandelion.
Dandelion. Oh, wow. Yeah. Interesting.
Because I have a juice at Erewhon that's a dandelion juice. Yeah. And I love the dandelion salad there. And it's so good for your gut and your liver. And a lot of people just don't eat dandelion.
And I think it's like this, there is this idea that it's gonna we're scared of almost like herbs, which I always think is very Eastern, right?
Yes.
That be more in tune with the herbs and little plants and the flowers. And in the US, we have 6 vegetables that we eat.
I know. Broccoli, cauliflower, right? Asparagus. Yeah. Those get boring.
Yeah, they do. 100%. All right. So this was a great start. Dandelion is, apart from detoxifying the body, maybe let's just talk about that before I dive into questions. So what's good dandelion for? Because it's
your
gut. It's in your smoothie.
Yeah, it is great for waking up digestive enzymes. It's bitter, and it's great for your liver, for helping detox your liver. I love bitter greens, all of them, arugula, endive, radicchio, not so much kale, only because I'm bored with it, but that's the only reason.
There.
But dandelion, it just is like fun, and I feel good after I eat it.
For those of these amazing women listening, I'm like, oh my God, I don't live in LA and I don't get to go to Erewhon. Where can one find a dandelion?
I mean, they are at farmers markets. So they might not be at all farmer markets, but I think they are across the country. I just don't think that people like really look into, what's there at the farmer's market.
And a lot of times, and maybe from my experience, is like when we don't know a vegetable, we don't really inquire. We're like, okay, I'm looking for the four. Like, and you have this tunnel vision of like, I came for nectarines and peaches and that's it. And they're still kind of there. And once you like dive in, it's like, oh, it's dandelion. I was like right next to like spinach and kale and
Right.
Yeah.
Another one that I'm crazy about is burdock.
Burdock. Oh, no way. Yeah.
So, I mean, I used to have a juice that was made with burdock root, and that also is really detoxifying. I'm all about detoxing.
Yeah. And I love that you say that because it's like, I have a supplement line. We use burdock, we use dandelion. It's like, these are the natural herbs that we just put in a capsule. Because I'm like, these are amazing. Like, why would you put all of these synthetic vitamins inside of you if you can use natural herbs and put them, like for those of us who don't really have access, that's also an option. But I feel like we're very aligned in that way, that it's just like, makes me feel a little bit like we're like back in the day, the herbalist women that would just like pick the right herbs, right? Like
to heal you.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, because it is all about that.
Yeah.
It's like fruits, like vegetables and herbs that come from the earth are where it's at. And they are massively healing for us and detoxifying and like really give us what we need.
And I think I want to like, even before we dive in, ask you like, what is it like? Because a lot of times I think we've embraced the healthy masculine energy for a lot of women, and we're crushing and we're doing so much and, multiple jobs and multiple passions. But I feel like, and I know like, imagine like there's someone out there just listening to us, like feeling so overwhelmed and they feel like, oh no. While I want to say like women are naturally good at this. We have centuries of experience of that innate ability to just be good with herbs. And it doesn't even have to take a lot of, you don't need to get a degree, but you just have to trust your intuition that you are naturally good at this. And as you just like learn little by little, thankfully, from people like you will realize that it's like it's going to be really easy for you to combine the herbs, and you will notice that you crave certain foods that are good for you. So what would you say to those women? Because I just want to encourage them, make them feel like, this, you're born for this.
And you're good at it. You're already good at it.
Yeah.
So I feel the same way because I think we are born with incredible intuition, right? And we lose it over the years because we have people in our lives that are like, oh no, you shouldn't feel that way, or you shouldn't eat that, or you shouldn't do this. And, we're like, but I do like to do that. And I do like to eat that way. So we got to tap back into our intuition. It's 100% right. Always. Just with, all the health issues I've had in the healing modalities. I mean, once I tap into my intuition, I'm like superhuman in some ways, like I really heal. And that's important.
So let's talk about your personal story, because it's quite interesting. And what was like that aha moment when you realized like, wow, my body can heal herself, but like, why did I have to get like not so healthy?
Right. I feel like just in a nutshell, growing up, I really wasn't well because I had a low white blood cell count when I was born. So no one knew what to do with it. There wasn't vitamin D in those days. It was just sunshine and sleep. And also it wasn't healthy food. It was, just eating sugar and drinking caffeine and, getting my energy up because I was always tired and always sick. And a lot of antibiotics, of course, over the years. And I feel like, I grew up with these parents that were very successful in type A. And so it was like, I just was trying to keep up with everything in my life. And physically and emotionally, I was depleted. And that's how the cancer came about. I feel like I wasn't feeling really powerful and I wasn't using my intuition. I wasn't feeling good enough. That was the biggest thing. And I wasn't in love with myself, or I didn't have any self-preservation or any sense of calm. This one doctor, when I got cancer at 32, said to me, do you love your job? Do you love your husband? Do you love what you do for a living? I mean, do you love your life? And I just burst into tears. And I was like, I don't even know what that means or feels like, because no one taught me that was important. And the most important thing, I think, for us women is to have that in our souls, right? To tap into our heart and our soul. And then that's where the power comes from, right? And then just to also he said, do you ever feel calm? And I never in my entire life felt calm. So that cancer diagnosis was a gift to me. And that's when I dove into the health world. And I had just moved from New York to LA. So LA had a lot to offer, of course. And I started doing yoga and doing self-help things and reading every self-help book and juicing it was Beverly Hills Juice. Do you know that place at all?
No.
It was the only juice place and still around today that was there 32 years ago. So I'd walk there every day and juice, and I became a vegan, not a healthy one. So I'm not a vegan today, but I just feel like I was able to heal, and I didn't do all the modalities they wanted me to do. I did not do chemo. I did very little radiation, only because my family and friends were freaking out that I wasn't going to do the Western meds. So that also gave me some health issues, of course, the radiation. But I just I knew in my gut that I could heal this, and that was the turning point for me to change my life around and to find peace and to find love and to get healthy and to get energies. I didn't want to live like I was living, those first 32 years. So
I love that you say that. So what I'm hearing is that first of all, we're aligned so much. I'm obsessed with you because one of my closest friends has been battling cancer, and I just know firsthand it's not easy after diagnosis not to freak out, because I'm freaking out for her because it's scary. So how do you keep as cool as a cucumber, so to say, to use it?
I wasn't
because it's you really, I think in theory, everyone would like to be okay, I have a cancer diagnosis, I don't love my life, and I don't feel calm. I think it resonates with a lot of people. I would, even as a nutrition coach, I feel like I'm trying to do more and more things that I love, but it's hard. Even when you do love what you love, there's still things that you don't really know, and especially or not love and keeping calm. But how does one make this massive change? And I love that you made the connection that sickness isn't just a body issue. It's a mental and spiritual issue of not being aligned with your purpose, which is 100% the reason why I think we get sick, because everybody's this doesn't feel good. I want to be out. So
right. In every
thank
way.
you for that connection. And thank you for being such a great example of how to do it. But I want to understand, you're 32, you have what seems like a death sentence, because that's what it feels like a lot of times. And you don't love your life and you're scared. And where do you go from there?
Well, I think that,
what's happening in your head? I want to understand.
No, all of those things were happening. I was scared to death. But I think growing up, I always was I'm a liver. I love life. I love people. I just feel, and I always was a glass half full girl. So I think that this diagnosis made me just really tap into, I want to live. I want to have a full life. I want to have kids. I want to stay married. I just really wanted to have a full life. So I just researched everything I could research to figure out how I could stay living and healthy and vibrant. And it was scary, Aggie. I can't tell you it wasn't scary. And to not choose to do all the Western meds was scary. But then I started, reading these books. Anita Morjami.
Back in the day, but not too long ago, even 5 years ago when I was healing myself, that the information wasn't as widely available. You couldn't go on Jay Shetty and listen to a podcast with you. You had to really read a ton of quite boring science books.
Yes, you did. You did. Also, I kind of was a little bit lucky. My mom had asthma growing up. And so she would go to this health ranch called Rancho La Puerta. Have you ever heard of that? It's in Tecate, Mexico. And it's still around today. They own the Golden Door and Rancho La Puerta, these two health spas. And So I would go with her when I was a teenager, and I would go with like 20 women. And these 20 women would start off the week feeling really crappy, shitty, anxious, just like hormonal, like not good. And by 7 days, being off the grid and eating off like plant-based and exercising every day and hiking, and they were mandatory massages, and they actually, and meditation. This place was way ahead of its time.
100%.
And yoga. And I was like, I would go with them. I didn't want to be there at 15, 16. I was like, get me out of here. I just want to be home with my friends. But they changed in 7 days. And I watched how beautiful that was. I think it was something that really instilled in me that, we do have the power to change. Our body can heal if we give it what it needs. When I watched these women dance on the tables at the end of the 7 days, in the town of Tecate, where they were, having a margarita for the first time, it was hysterical. I was like, oh my God. So I didn't think about it then, but I think when I was diagnosed, I was like, wow, I think I remember seeing that this is possible.
And how long did it take you to heal?
About like a year to 2 years. Wow. So it did. And then I got Hashimoto's and hypothyroidism because they had radiated my thyroid. I got celiac. I got insomnia. I got anxiety. I got all of those things because of the radiation, which was not fun. Had to deal with all of that as well. So,
and fast forward to now, what would you say, how has that journey been for you?
Well, there was also a hiccup in the middle of this journey to now. My husband was diagnosed with cancer at 43 and a half years old, and he died at 45. So I had a 10 and a 7-year-old at home. And
you're on your own?
I was on my own. And I was like, holy shit, like another cancer diagnosis and someone who died. And also I was depleted like crazy trying to save him the year and a half. And that was a really crazy, stressful time. And that's when I had to like dive way back in and realize, okay, now it's really on me to get better and healthy and stronger, and to show these girls that just because they had two parents that had cancer doesn't mean they're going to get cancer. Yeah. And I just wanted to be a role model for them. And I went back to school to get certified in Eastern and Western medicine, but I didn't go back to become a nutritionist or do what I do today. I just did it for myself. And then, of course, I loved it and was passionate about it. And then things started to like happen after I graduated, where I put these 5-day cleanse programs together for Cafe Gratitude and M Cafe, and
which
for
are, by the way,
Erewhon.
the best, like cute little coffee shops in LA for those of you who don't know, but they're the best.
Yes, and they were great.
And the OG M Cafe was like there when I moved to LA like 12 years ago or so. Yes, so
that was it. I don't think it's there anymore.
No, I think it is.
It is.
Yeah, it is.
So
I mean, at least it was like a few months ago.
Yeah, but I did that for 5 or 6 years, and I handheld the cleansers, and I found out kind of all their health issues and their ailments. And I worked with functional doctors and naturopaths and general practitioners and all kinds of doctors in LA. And I found out what I needed to know about like helping them with low blood sugar or, weight loss or hormone issues or insomnia. Or then I just kept studying and just one thing led to another. And then I created my own cleanse about 10 years ago. And that's been going on for 10 years. And I have 4 different cleanses. And I see clients now. And now I do all their blood work. So I'm very like scientific now, more so than I was in those days.
And you kind of have to just to like prove the point to people. Because I think it's very easy to dismiss someone like you. It's just like, oh, it's just food. And that's just, a lot of people are like, well, no, this woman has blood sugar issues and hormones, like you mentioned. She needs medication. Who are you to give her food as medicine? Yeah. And so you're like, I'm going to prove you. Right. I'm going to collect the data. So I can actually prove it to you.
Yeah. I mean, I do this full blood panel and we can see, I do all hormones and all metabolic markers and all heavy metals and everything, just to get an idea of what's going on. Even young girls are having issues, as you know, I'm sure, right?
It's crazy what's happening.
And my OBs are like, why are you doing blood work on 20-year-olds? I'm like, it is fascinating to see what's going on with them. Their adrenals are fatigued, just the hormones that are coming out of the adrenals, right? DHEA and pregnenolone could be just really severely low, and you could help them out easily with some supplements to help boost their own endocrine system, and just things like that, or vitamin D and is really low, and just simple things. Yeah. So, or their blood sugars, everybody's blood sugar seems to be way too high these days, right?
I mean, not surprisingly, because everything that we eat is raising it.
I know.
You feel like you're having a piece of toast, and then it's like it's worse than a chocolate cake.
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly.
What regular health conditions could be healed with food?
Oh, I think almost everything. I really do. Maybe stage 4 cancer might be a little hard.
Yeah.
But I feel like, insulin levels, blood pressure, just like even autoimmune issues.
Mm-hmm.
So to some degree, I just feel like, sometimes you need some supplementation. So I would say, a lot, the food and a little bit of supplements that are high quality and what you believe in as well. The high quality ones with no
I'm just like
fillers.
the lazy version of you, because I was like, I know I have like my dandelion like tea, and I like the marshmallow, and like I make my own teas. And then sometimes I'm just like, I'll just like have a supplement, which is like, I know this is lazy, but it's just sometimes like a little bit more practical. But I'm really inspired by someone like you who like puts together all of that. One of the things that I stand behind, it's like when people ask me like, how do you think, what would you do if you felt like your hormones are off? And I'm just like, it's a lot of times like our bodies detox, can't detoxify. It's like full of toxins, and they're like, okay, how do you detoxify? And I'm like, well, even if you can't detoxify, like even giving your body a break from ingesting toxins, right? Because it feels like that's what I guess cleanse does, that it's like you stop ingesting everything. And my dream would be to do a cleanse where you say, stop using your cream from CVS at the same time, and stop using your shampoo and a moisturizer and dry shampoo, which is like really bad, and your perfume. And do that as part of your juice cleanse, and see, you probably will feel much better.
Right.
That should be the fine print.
Right. I love that. Maybe I need to add that to the
cleanse. Yeah.
You're right. Like,
because it's one thing to cleanse, but if you're constantly bombarding yourself, it's kind of like a catch-22.
Right. And the water we're drinking
too,
right?
Yeah.
And just the air in your house sometimes isn't so healthy, or the clothes you're wearing, or the sheets you're sleeping on, or
exactly, right? Or even the floss. Yeah. And so it's kind of funny how like when you said that about this trip to Mexico, and I feel like when you put yourself in a cleaner environment without the EMFs, without the constant, pollution, like let's go outside on my balcony here. We just had it cleaned a week ago, and it's like black. And I'm like, how?
Yeah.
How
is
like
that possible?
How is that possible? And it's
like,
how is your outdoor space? Like it constantly has to be clean, because it's like just black air. Yeah. So imagine you're inhaling all of that if you don't have like air purifiers. And so it's challenging, and I know it's overwhelming, and I think it's amazing that we're doing those cleanses. So let's just go back, take a step back, and obviously fast food's not great for us, but what other foods aren't great and might be contributing to health issues that are a little bit less obvious?
And other than the added sugars that everyone's overdoing, and the bad seed oils that, because of COVID, and because everyone's ordering in now from Postmates to, from places that use cheap oils, that's become a huge issue. Processed foods, as we know, and then animal protein that isn't clean. I'm sure you probably believe in the same thing.
Yeah. So let's talk about that, because it's like, obviously biohacking is very much deep into grass-fed, and it's like I believe like you can potentially. There isn't like people are like, oh, burgers are bad or this. I'm like, honestly, all of that isn't bad. It's just what we have done to a burger. Like the original McDonald's was actually probably healthy because it had like good quality, like flour that wasn't highly processed, and had an amazing piece of beef that was grass-fed, grass-finished, and it was made.
Simple.
They used lard or tallow to like fry them and da da da. So it's just funny how like technically nothing is really inherently bad. It's just what we have done to variations of these foods has made them so bad.
Absolutely. And also the fake meats, everyone's kind of like the vegan movement was huge. I think we're turning around a little bit to be people are starting to realize those aren't good for us with all those fillers, and the fake cheeses, and you overdo all those things. Those aren't good, like just additives, fillers in our food. If we just eat real food, like that's what the cleanse is. It's all real food. It's over 50 different vegetables in 5 days. So who can say they have over 50 different vegetables in 5 days? And that's
I think
what's so
the
beautiful.
average is 5.
Right.
In the US, I think, because I remember when I was writing the book, we were researching, because, they say to eat the rainbow, to have at least 30 new plants. And, sometimes I do a list because it's like even an herb is technically a plant. So you can have all of that. But it's really interesting how we are surprised that like, wait, I'm eating healthy and I have all of these issues that a lot of times those issues are connected to our gut, but we don't realize. So how do I know that my issues are actually the root cause of it is gut, and so is the food. And so what are easy way to give our gut a reset to start functioning
That's
properly?
a great question. I mean, we all do know what works for us and what doesn't. And again, going back to our intuition, and also when we eat something, I'm sure you feel the same way. I don't feel good like after I've eaten, and I usually can pinpoint like what that was or is that I'm eating that just, isn't good. And I eliminate it and to see. So I wish people did more of that, like really tuned in to their meals, and their meals were simple. But I'm a huge fan of like detoxing the gut and basically giving the gut a break. So I love intermittent fasting. For some people, it's not for everybody, but I just want people to go a period of time where they're not digesting food all the time. Well, our digestive system is never empty. So we came up with this 3-day liquid cleanse just to empty out the gut, the intestines, the colon, because some people have never had that in their life. So I feel like we're having all these SIBO and SIFO things happening because we have food consistently and they're fermenting and not really digesting, and we're not eliminating as well. So
what's in your liquid gut reset?
It is a bone broth. So it's it is have protein. I'm a big protein girl. So 2 smoothies.
We align on it. Literally everything you have said. It's been a while since I had a guest, and I'm like,
really?
Yep. Yeah. Like, because very much, it's really funny how like a lot of these cleanses have so much sugar, and I'm like, well, you're literally just feeding candida at this point. So I'm like, what's the point of having a mango pineapple juice? Like, like it's beautiful, but also
no sugar. There's no sugar on it at all. We use a little bit of stevia just to sweeten potentially the smoothies, but usually we don't need it. So we have 2 smoothies, we have a soup, we have a bone broth.
It's nice to have a mix, obviously. Like, it's not like I'm against fruit, but like, as you can imagine, it's like some of the cleanses just have nothing but sugar.
Yeah. I just feel like because of my cancer and because of my husband's cancer, the sugar was such a detriment for us. We were sugar fanatics. We ate a ton of sugar. So I just am like so anti-sugar. And once I started juicing my greens, and I still juice today, 32 years later, I don't have any sugar cravings. 0. No. It's wild. I mean, everyone comes and goes, I can't get rid of my sugar craving, but it was kind of easy to do with, getting the nutrients that I needed and also healing my gut. So I'm a big probiotic girl. So we do have probiotics on the cleanse. We have a coconut kefir tonic that is full of probiotics. So we want to replenish. A lot of times we do give activated charcoal or chlorophyll or, things to detox the body as well, to reset the gut, because there's always pathogens in there. Yep. And so it just is super fun to be able to, like, even in 3 days, to have someone feel better with their gut. Wow. Or 5 days reset. You can reset your body, as you know, in 5 days.
I just did a parasite cleanse in Europe, which involved actually just not eating. So the beginning is basically you just had, it was quite intense because it was like a liver cleanse. I don't know if you've done one with the oil and the lemons and whatnot, which was combined with just eating super dry herbs with water that was killing the parasite. And then you do colonics every day for 5 days and just see where that goes. Wow. And the amount of parasite that came out of me, it was crazy. And I'm like,
wow.
and I eat healthy.
Yeah.
And I don't really
Yeah.
even eat sugar, but it's crazy. Some of them were like, this long. And I'm like, wow.
Yeah.
Because the herbs were meant to like really upset the parasite. And then there's
how did you feel afterwards? Amazing?
I feel like this was like 2 weeks ago. So I'm still like on this journey. I'm like, okay, I want to be really careful with what I eat. Because it's just like, you feel like all of a sudden, just like everything, like you look at the burger and you're like, oh, that's a lot. Like I need to take it easy. Right. So that's the beauty of a cleanse. But I've been doing a lot of broths, and I feel like this is like just such an underrated. I have chicken broth for like with bones for breakfast. So it's so thick that it gels.
The collagen. Yeah, that's what ours is too. I'm a big believer in all that. I love that. And again, I love colonics. I did that when I had cancer as well. I just feel like that's a whole issue with a lot of people these days, is like not going to the bathroom enough.
Yeah. Yes.
They go for days and they're like, no big deal.
Yeah. It's like keeping a trash bag inside of your house and just wondering like why it stinks.
Yeah, exactly. That's it. It's fermenting and it's like stinky inside your body. I know.
And so I can already hear someone out there like driving the car and be like, yeah, but what about like it has never been an issue like 500 years ago or 1,000 years ago, to which we can obviously say like, I mean, enemas are like 1,000 years old, but also we used to move so much. So when we move, our guts also work very differently. But what do? We sit most of the day, which I think is one of the reasons. Right. What would you say to those people, like the skeptics?
Yeah, we definitely have to move our body every day. I mean, even just 30 minutes walking every day is huge for us, or trying to get in those 10,000 steps, I think is beautiful. It lowers our blood sugar. It just gets things moving through the digestive tract. So that, people, you're right, aren't moving, they're sitting. And it really doesn't take hardcore exercise, even though a lot of people love that, but it just takes moving your body like every single day after you eat is the most beautiful thing to do. Yeah. Just even going for a 20-minute walk or 30, it lowers your cortisol levels as well. Yeah. And also hydration. That's a big
one. Let's talk about it. Yes.
That hydration, there's a dehydrated epidemic going on. And as you know, 2 to 3% dehydrated, nothing works right. Your brain doesn't work. Your digestive system doesn't work. So I feel like people are drinking not enough water, first of all, and they're also not getting minerals in their soil and in their food so that the water actually can go into their cells to really hydrate them. That's a big thing for me. So I love hydrating powders that are full of minerals, or even a pinch of sea salt if you're not going to, do the hydrating powder. But women really need almost 96 ounces of water a day. I mean, if you're having a smoothie or a juice or something hydrating, that can count towards that.
I'm gonna drink as we
the
speak.
96. But men need like 120. So we just aren't getting there. We're doing like 60 ounces when I talk to clients. I'm like, not enough. And they're
and having a bigger, like that's why I always drink from jars, because maybe you can share your glass.
Yes.
This is not big enough. Sorry, this is for our guests. Like we have the nice glasses and then we have actual glasses that I drink from. Because like for me, that's just like 2 sips and I'm upstairs, so downstairs, and the water, is in the kitchen. So you don't end up going and then like you end up being super thirsty.
I mean, that is a simple thing to do. So walking, for someone listening out there, is so easy to do mostly. I would say, unless it's winter and you can't get outside, the water is easy too. Yeah.
I have a $300 treadmill, like the desk treadmill. Right. It's so good. Yeah. Like you end up actually, yesterday I walked for 2 hours because I had a lot of calls, or like I was listening to something. I was like, I might as well just move while I listen to whatever the podcast it was.
Beautiful. I know. No, those are, and I also feel like juicing for me is like crucial. I'm 64. So by the way, and I felt now the best I've ever felt in my entire life. Wow. And I've been juicing for 32 years, and I just make a simple cucumber, celery, lemon, ginger, parsley. If I have other herbs, dandelion around or burdock, I will throw them in, but I am a huge juicer, or I'll put it in a blender, which is really easy for people too, because most people have blenders. They'll throw those things in there, get 16 ounces, super hydrating, tons of minerals, lots of fiber, and they can help with, cleaning themselves out and the hydration, and also getting like 4 to 5 cups of vegetables.
Yeah.
Like it's such an easy way to start the day.
When it comes to getting regular, back in the day when I couldn't get regular, I got into the juice, the celery juice cleanse, and I was like, oh my God, I could not go to the bathroom. But once I drank it, it was like within 10 minutes, I was already in the bathroom. Right. It was incredible how well it worked. And even if the juice didn't work, the fact that I got to be regular every day, it's like, even if had no nutritional value, which it does, it's incredible, because it allows you to, like, for most people that are constipated, like, imagine getting rid of just the toxins that, by the way, if they sit in your gut, they get reabsorbed, and you like literally detoxify yourself over and over again. Recirculate,
right? Yeah. I'll never forget this one story about parasites you were talking about. And usually I don't talk about this, but I was juicing, and I just started juicing, and basically I had a couple parasites come out of me, not by a colonic.
Oh, wow.
But in the shower, which was traumatizing, I have to say.
Oh, my God.
I know, but the juicing, and the hydration, and
and they just too healthy of an environment for them to thrive.
Exactly.
Yeah. Because when my parasites were dying 2 weeks ago, I had the most insane brain fog of my life. I just couldn't focus.
Oh, I bet.
I was so grumpy. I was like, oh my God, I feel so unwell. I was like, I really can't function. And I'm thinking, imagine that's a lot of people think that's feeling unwell, being low energy, being cranky, being having no patience is part of their personality. And it's just an imbalance.
It's a physical thing.
Yeah.
It's what's going on in the body that's not working for you. I mean, I believe in all of those things. I just don't think, I feel like I can be a spokesperson for people who age, and I feel better now. I'm thriving. My energy, my mental clarity, just my sleep, everything is beautiful. And I want women or men as well to know that they don't have to deal with that stuff.
Yeah.
Wow.
So real quick, probiotics, prebiotics, and postbiotics, and what are your favorite? And I love that because I think a lot of people get really overwhelmed and they feel like they need to pop a pill, but they don't.
No. I mean, I love we eat normally prebiotic foods. So I feel like onions and, legumes and beans and slightly green bananas and asparagus and, even dandelion greens and things like that are prebiotics. So the greens and the vegetables, right? They're beautiful, the fiber. And the probiotics, I do love coconut kefirs, and there's a kefir, coconut kefir milk drink that I love. It's 100 trillion probiotics in I think 8 ounces of it. Sauerkraut, kimchi, all those things are beautiful. We have sauerkraut on our gut cleanse. We have the tonics, on all the cleanse. I mean, people start to make these tonics. It's beautiful. I think the probiotic foods are easier to digest. Cocoyo has a great yogurt that I love, right?
Yeah. There's a new kefir yogurt in Erewhon. I don't know if you saw the coconut kefir yogurt.
Yeah, I have. It's
the
great.
The white bottle. Yeah.
I mean, it is sometimes hard to find outside of LA. Yeah, I mean, we're lucky,
I made my own yogurt 2 weeks ago. I was because I was just I got a good yogurt from Erewhon. It was so expensive. I'm like, okay, I'm making my own. So I got raw, grass-fed, pasture-raised milk from Erewhon, made my own in a batch that was so much bigger. And I was like,
And I used to make my own too. It's so easy.
Yeah.
So easy in the blender and, with some probiotics, you add it. Yeah. I would do coconut or cashew or, all of those things.
Yeah. Whatever. It doesn't have to be cow milk, but even I am a big fan of sheep's milk personally.
Yeah, I love sheep's milk too. And goat. I love both of those. Yeah.
Yeah.
Cow can be a little not for everybody, but some clean cow can be great for people,
but not always. Versus, what are some of your tips for bloating and constipation while traveling?
That's a good one too, because that happens consistently, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I think that, what we talked about, the hydration is huge. So there is a hydrating powder that I do love called Ultima Replenisher, and my clients all travel with that. It has all the minerals. It has a little bit of chloride. So it's not fully, electrolytes with a lot of sodium. And that helps them tremendously. Also, they'll travel with like Tulsi tea. Do you know Tulsi tea?
No.
No? It's holy basil. It's the queen of adaptogen
Oh, okay.
herbs.
Tulsi. Okay,
Yeah, the holy
sorry.
basil.
Yeah.
So
I called it Tulsi.
Oh, yeah. I'm not sure I'm probably saying it right, but it lowers inflammation in the gut. It's great for just keeping, your hormones calm, your cortisol down, and just that's really great. I think also I travel with probiotics. So I'm a big fan of, taking very strong probiotics when I travel. Like I take 100 billion at a minimum a day. So I love
What's your favorite brand?
Genuine Health.
Genuine Health.
Yeah, it's a little hard to find. It's from Canada. It used to be at Erewhon, but it's not anymore. And so it's definitely become a little bit tricky. You can find the 50 billion on Amazon, but the 100 billion is easier. But you can buy the 50 billion and take 2. You can take 3. You can take 4. You can't get enough. I think that's really helpful. Digestive enzymes are really important too sometimes, because you can't take apple cider vinegar with you, right, on a trip. So I like Enzymatica Digest Gold is my favorite. And
do you take it with every meal?
I do when I'm traveling. So,
at home you don't? Or
I don't.
No.
Yeah, I don't seem to need it as much. And I'll take it after the meal if I do need it. So weirdly, I won't take it. You could take it before or after, but if I feel a little funky, I'll take it after and it settles my stomach.
Yeah.
Or I'll take a, sip of my kefir and that will settle my stomach. Or I'll take, weirdly, a handful of arugula. And that is incredible for settling.
Wow.
I know. Because it's, again, those bitter herbs really do help. They're enzymes. They help wake up the enzymes. So,
which is always so good when you're in Europe or Italy and they start with the arugula salad.
Yeah,
like, okay, done.
Right. It's, And I feel, and also I take magnesium when I travel. So,
what are some of the worst foods for bloating that are still healthy?
Well, sometimes it can be, like legumes and beans. It depends on, there could be a lot of things. I know for me, like legumes and beans, if you don't eat a lot of them, our cleanse is very heavily legumes and beans. And that's why we give enzymes to all the cleansers, because I want to make sure they get protein through the week. We also will give chicken and salmon and things like that for people who really want animal protein other than the bone broth. But I feel like if you've got to, really build up your tolerance for them and really get used to them, and then you can be fine with them. But at the beginning, it can be really awful, right? And then I think, just for me, like certain food, like cashews really like bloat me and don't make me feel good. But I think it could be that I just overdid the cashew cheese and the cashew milk and the cashews for so long, because that was the thing to do years ago, right? That was very popular. And some of the nightshades can make me bloated. So I think, those are healthy, right?
Yeah.
I feel like, they make me have brain fog and bloated and digestive issues. So I have to, just tap into what works for me individually and what doesn't.
Yeah. So what would you say, what are some of the most common foods that people have sensitivities to that they might be thinking that they're doing the right thing, or but they might be, like we mentioned cow's milk, that is perhaps not for everybody.
Right. So, I mean, sometimes nuts can be, people love nuts. I mean, that can be, you can build up a nut intolerance and we seem to overdo the nuts. Coffee can be a problem. I think coffee can be really toxic unless it's a clean coffee, or we've overdone the coffee.
Yeah.
That the caffeine.
I can't have tahini, which is my favorite because it's of the sesame seeds.
Yeah, the sesame seeds. Yeah. It's just, we just have to pay attention to what is working. And when we do, and we eat the things that do agree with us, I mean, we do feel a whole lot better than when we're constantly fighting the struggle of not constipation, but just digestive issues and feeling bloated. That's a horrible way to walk around. And you're in such a great
shape. I'm so impressed. Like, you're definitely in better shape than I am. I'm like, okay,
I don't think so.
Oh, no, you are. You came with chiseled stomach with a crop top in your 60s. Like, hi. And I'm like, wow, hottie. All right. I need to up my game because I feel like
it's not hard. You know how to do it, but you look pretty phenomenal.
No, but it's
yourself.
just like it's incredible to
Thank
like
you.
see how it's all working.
Yeah.
You walked into the house when I was making my own. I was testing a new recipe, which is lemons, like organic lemons, just blended with coconut milk as ice cream.
Ooh,
and they're really good.
Sounds
actually.
delicious. I think I might have to do that.
Yeah, and some you can use any sugar you want. Obviously, I
Right.
use monk fruit or stevia,
Mhm.
and it's just like a sorbet because
Mhm.
the lemons give you like texture. Anyways,
I mean, I think that's another really interesting point, the stevia and the monk fruit
Yeah.
sugar thing. Like, I mean, I think that nowadays, wherever I go, there's Truvia, and
Yeah.
they're like, oh, yeah, this is really healthy for you.
Yeah.
You know, or, I mean, we all know the other ones aren't Splenda and,
Yeah.
you know, Equal or all of those. But, you know, there are some out there that are not healthy.
Yeah, and so also like stevia is like it's an interesting one. I'm curious about your opinion because some people obviously say that it causes infertility. That's really bad for the gut. I personally really like it. I do feel good having
Mhm.
it, and so I'm just curious, what would be your favorite sugar that doesn't raise blood sugar?
Stevia.
Stevia, yeah. Okay,
I mean,
cool.
a clean stevia.
Yeah.
You know, I use this Omica, like OMICA.
yeah.
I don't know if
Yeah.
I'm saying that right, but they have a vanilla and a regular, and I just
Isn't the one in
liquid.
the drops as well?
Yeah,
Yeah.
just
Okay, yeah, I
like
have
a
it.
few drops is all you need, and it sweetens it.
Yeah.
You know, your coffee or your latte, or you know, even your morning cereal, or just whatever,
Yeah.
you know, your yogurt that's unsweetened, which I love because I love unsweetened yogurt. And you really just need a little, and it's amazing. And I think it's the one sugar that doesn't create more bad bacteria in the gut.
Mhm.
So I've used it for years, and my gut has been great.
Yeah.
with
Well,
it.
I never had a bad like reaction to stevia.
Yeah.
Personally.
Same.
But yeah. Okay, so let's talk about we talked about different protocols. I want to talk about actual cleanses. So why is it we kind of touched upon like why it is important to cleanse the body. But what happens when your body's cleansing or we're giving it the food that help her cleanse herself?
Right.
I
mean,
like calling my body her because I just like it is just like
it is such a beautiful thing to give the body what it needs, and also to be able to give your body real food that your body can metabolize. You know, I feel like when you're not giving your body foods with additives and fillers and preservatives, you know, your body knows how to metabolize it, and it knows how to digest it and get it in and out of the body. So I feel like, and also you then potentially can absorb the nutrients that you're deprived in. I think we're so deprived in nutrients because we're not eating enough nutrients, of course. So I feel like, you know, just that's why I love doing my cleanses, because they're full food-based cleanses. You're not starving, you're not depriving yourself. So you're basically giving your body just, you know, no inflammatory foods, and you're filling it up with nutrients, and the body knows what to do with it. So I see people consistently for 10 years in 5 days eat more food than they're used to, Aggie, and lose weight. And be like frustrated before, like I can't lose weight. And then after 5 days, drop 5 pounds. The men usually drop 8 pounds. You know, it's like, really, that's possible? I can eat all this food and then lose weight and then also sleep better and, you know, not have brain fog. And it's just wild.
And I love that you say that because, you know, I started our conversation with like, I love hosting women on the show because it's very true that like a lot of diets, like, and, you know, I'm not against Andrew Huberman. I love him, but he often mentions, you know, calorie restrictions, the only way to lose weight or the most effective thing to lose weight, time to lose weight. But for me personally, I started losing weight when I started eating more, not less, because prolonged calorie restriction leads to this like moment in your body when the body is just not, you know, metabolically compensates for years of under eating, right? So obviously,
so true.
And so I sometimes feel like this all sounds great on paper, but like if you start working with women and the fact that we're constantly bombarded with another thing and another diet, and we just feel like we need to eat less and less and less and work out more and more and more. And then they come to you and it's like, no, you can actually eat more and lose weight. And I think it's really important to help people understand that there is very little there's not much to go from if you keep reducing calories. But if you eat the right amount, your body will let go.
Absolutely.
Of that excess weight.
Absolutely. Every time I work with a woman who is struggling with weight loss, if it isn't something physical underlying, the hormones or insulin resistant, as you know, I find out that they're really depriving themselves. They're not eating very much and they're scared to add food because they're just automatically, we've been like brainwashed to think that it's going to make us fat or gain weight. And it's not the case. We've just been brainwashed in the wrong way. Just we need to nourish ourselves and nurture ourselves so our body also can like chill out and calm down and, feel good about ourselves. Also give us the energy to work out too.
So just for louder for people in the back, how is it possible that women can start eating more and lose weight and have more energy and like, just that totally doesn't make sense.
I know.
What the fitness advice is telling people to like eat less and work out more.
The body needs nutrients and nourishment. And you're like, again, it's the inflammatory foods, it's the processed foods, it's the, the crappy stuff that's added to our foods that's really kind of halting us from really getting to where we need to be in a weight loss program, I think. Body doesn't know how to metabolize all these additives and, food colorings and things that are added. So when it eats real food, it knows what to do with it. So, I mean, our salads are massive, like huge. And it's so funny to have people text me and show me pictures like, I can't finish the salad. And then they finish it and they feel great. They don't feel like they're full, but they don't feel, over full. And
which I think is a big misconception, right? That if I full myself, like, because we're so used to eating food that makes us feel so bad that if we actually have a full meal, like it's going to be too much.
Yeah. And it's not. It really isn't. And also just, I think that, foods that really like fuel us are huge in terms of like just, getting the metabolism moving. Yeah.
What kind of foods are not in your cleanses? Do you avoid grains? I don't.
Yeah. I just avoid. We do have some gluten-free grains, so we limit the carbs a bit. But I do feel like carbs are important in the diet because I'm seeing, a lot of people with anxiety and, just emotionally not feeling, grounded. And I feel like complex carbs really ground us. They're full of minerals. I love quinoa and basmati rice and sweet potatoes and just, wild rice and things like that, or carrots and beets. And we also, I guess the carbs would be legumes and beans too, right? Yeah. So, but we just try to like manage how much they get. So they're really like, they're getting a lot of food, but the calorie content is like 1,200 to 1,500. So it's not a huge calorie intake, but they're still getting a ton of food because it's mostly vegetables.
Beautiful. Yeah. What would you say, do you eliminate oats, for example, or do you eliminate fruit to an extent?
Yes. Yeah, I do. I mean, I'm a fan of fruit. I love eating fruit. I don't love putting fruit in my juices or in smoothies. We do a little bit of blueberries maybe in one of our smoothies, but and we have blueberries on our chia pudding, but yes, we try to like limit the sugar again.
And blueberries, because they have very low, glycemic index. So that
they're
means
high in antioxidants.
Yeah.
So, but we don't do oats. So I feel like they raise the blood sugar too much. I'm just really trying to, my goal is to get people to eat more vegetables and also add in some legumes and beans for fiber into their diet because we're not getting enough fiber. And that's why we're not also going to the bathroom enough. But, it's not, I eat everything. I just don't love, like, there's certain foods that we mentioned earlier that don't agree with me, but I eat animal protein, I also drink alcohol, I do love life, and I love to like go out with my friends and celebrate. And, I'm not picky. I have pasta, I have pizza, sometimes I have cheese, right? But I definitely, majority of the time when I'm eating this way, I just feel so fantastic, and it maintains my weight, and it keeps my brain functioning well, and it keeps my sleep good, and it keeps me going, keeps me regular. So I feel like, I'm just really trying to get people to add more nutrients into their diet. And so I give them all these nutrients, and then they're like, wow, I've eaten so much in 5 days, and I can't believe all these different vegetables. I'd love to continue to feel this way is the goal.
What would you say to people that feel like, well, this is my favorite argument, if you ate healthy, you wouldn't need a cleanse. Why don't you just like not have the pizza? I'm a bio-slacker, so I eat quite a lot of not so great foods. So because I feel like I want to live life. I didn't come here to just have lettuce leaves.
Yes. No.
But like, that's like my way of managing it. But like, why, how, and why?
That's also a good question. You know what? Our program shouldn't be called a cleanse, because it really is, it's
like a reset.
It is. It's a reset. It's food. It's not really the old-fashioned true cleanse, which is mostly liquids, like you were saying, smoothies or, just water or things like that. I mean, our program is really just is a reset, a food reset.
Like a good pause for the body and a break.
Exactly. And also I also am so dedicated, because I get so many clients with digestive issues, to like reverse those digestive issues and empty out that gut, and intestines and really colon, and help them get to a better place, and maybe, revisit. They're not going to be good all the time, but to know how to revisit that and lower the pathogen loads and replenish the microbiome, because that's so crucial, these days, and just really be able to digest their food and go to the bathroom regularly is just like a goal of mine, because I know they feel better when they do that, right?
How often do you think we should do a cleanse like this?
Well, I've had someone on it for 2 years, so it's pretty wild. I mean, I can't believe we do switch up the soups and the salads quite often. I can't believe she's not bored shitless, if I could say that, like with this cleanse. But, people do it weekly. They do it monthly. They do it, twice a month. They do it like a couple times a year. So it's depending on their lifestyle.
Yeah. And I think it's pretty important.
If they can afford it, they do it weekly.
I think maybe I didn't phrase my my question correctly, because I think it's like we're talking about the reset, the gut reset that you have. Because when I think of an actual cleanse, I don't want people to think you can be on a gut cleanse that's just liquid for 2 years, because we're talking about like a clean eating food diet. All right. So I feel like the number one question is that people are just itching to know, like, okay, but how do I sign up for that cleanse? Where can I find it? Where can I find you? Like, what do I do? Like, I want to sign up. I'm joining for sure.
It's only in LA. We do go down to the OC and out to Malibu and like the Valley. But it's such a bummer that we're not more nationwide, because it is all organic and it's put in glass, and we also very much put really crazy, amazing energy. We're energy healers as well. So we're like raking the cleanse and like making sure the energy's good, and the staff is like really loves all that. So that is a part we didn't talk about. That's a whole other podcast, but it's very LA based. We do really well here, but it would be fun.
You do delivery.
We do delivery, twice a week. So it's very fresh. We will be delivering 3 different bone broths and being able to ship those across the country. We have a mood broth, an immunity broth, and like a digestive broth that we will be shipping. And we ship our bars that we make homemade and our granola across the country, which is really fun. And the bars are sold at Erewhon as well. They make them and sell them. I don't make them. But so that's, and I do have on my website, a 3-day, a 7-day, and I have a lot of recipes on how they could do it themselves. And they don't have to do it exact to be, they can do it, they can simplify it. They can make the same salad for 3 days. and have it, or the tonic, or, the soup.
Yeah. So what's your website and how can people find you?
ElissaGoodman.com. Very easy. And on
Double
Instagram, ElissaGoodman.com.
Yeah.
Very easy to find.
Wow, that was so exciting and so inspiring. And thank you so much, because I think you're just such a beautiful spokesperson to everything you do. But you do need to come back and let's talk about the energy behind food and the way we prepare food and why it's so important, and why is it that certain food just tastes so good when your mom makes it.
Exactly. It's because of her love and her energy. It's the love that we put into it.
Yeah.
It's so crucial. I mean, I wish more people cooked at home and love to cook, for their family, because that is the biggest gift you could give your family.
Wow. So beautiful. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you for coming.